Yo, what's up everybody, KingGBL here, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Level 1 to Legend. This is the series in which we take a Level 1 account in Pokemon Go and try to hit Legend in the very first season. The series has been very inactive over the last couple of weeks. A big thank you to everybody who's been asking about it. I've had a lot of stuff going on in my life here personally. We had our new baby here coming home last week, and of course I had to spend a lot of time getting ready. So in today's video, I want to give you guys a big update on the account, basically show you everything that's going on, and we'll basically pick everything back up. We've got roughly 2 weeks left of the season, and it's basically time to get caught back up on this and try to sort of run for everything. I'm just going to go through all of my Pokemon here that we have available. This week we have Retro Cup and Master League. I'm very happy Retro Cup is back. Last week was very difficult to play. I only had a few Pokemon available for that cup, and it was basically impossible for me. I had, I think, 6 out of 7 Pokemon that were weak to Fairy, and unfortunately, anytime I played, Gardevoir was absolutely everywhere. But you can see here that we do have some very decent picks for Go Battle League currently. We have a build Jellicent, a build Drifblim, we have a high rank for Alligator, and a lot of very good options. So today we're going to hop in, we're going to do 6 sets of PvP. I actually tanked down quite a lot in Go Battle League, and we're going to have to make a massive comeback. At the start of this video, we're currently sitting around 2450 ELO, I believe. At the end of the Halloween Cup, I decided to take a couple of days off that meta. I was running a very strong team of Wigglytuff, Golurk, and Drifblim. I think I definitely could have hit Legend in that cup, but I decided it would have been a little bit too easy to hit Legend at that point, and I decided to stop playing for a couple of days. We had a full week of Open Great League, and unfortunately I just wasn't doing very well in there. Having a look at the upcoming events to see what we can do to build the account out, we have the Spotlight Hour, where I can get a bunch of Stardust with Combi, which is nice. I'm having a look at these upcoming events. There are a couple of Pokemon in here that I could get, but I think for the most part we've basically fleshed everything out. I could potentially catch a few Tentacools. I also would like to get a Toxapex built if possible. Looking at the following event, we have Skunkies, we have Magnemite spawning in the wild. I think this is the event that's currently going on right now. So there is a few things we can catch. I think it could be quite nice to get a Venusaur with Frenzy planned, but apart from that, I think the roster that we have now at the moment is basically what we're sticking with. We're down to 2452. I was up to over 2800 ELO, we've got less than 500 battles played, and we have 2 weeks left of the season. We basically have to hop in here, and we have to try to make a massive push. These are the Pokemon that I had available for last week. As you can see, I just didn't have anything for that last cup. 6 of them I think are weak to Charm, so it was pretty much impossible for me to play, unfortunately. But anyway guys, we're picking the account back up. I'm going to start playing this account a little bit more actively. One of the issues I had last week is not having Stardust. I stupidly built a Morpeko, which I think was a huge mistake, and I can't really afford to have any more mistakes at this point. I could have built something like Galarian Slowbro, and I feel like that would have served me much better. We're basically at the point where I can't afford to make any more mistakes. If I make more mistakes in this series, I think it's basically GG for us. We have 550 ELO to gain over the next 2 weeks, and it's going to be pretty difficult. As you can see, I'm just having a look at these special attacks. Potentially Poliwrath, Pidgeot with Gust, and Venusaur could be useful, but I think, like I said, most of the Pokemon that we currently have are the Pokemon that we will be using. I think next week I'll be looking to hop into Catch Cup. The first time I ever hit Legend was in Catch Cup, and in fact, the second and I think maybe even third time I hit Legend were all in Catch Cup. I was a Catch Cup Legend for at least 2 or 3 seasons, and I think we're going to try and bring that back here. Catch Cup, as a new account, is a fantastic opportunity. It's great that Niantic has given us the option to play Catch Cup or something else instead, like Open Great League. I think it was a couple of seasons ago that we had only Catch Cup and Master League, which was absolute insanity. I think this season has been very difficult for this challenge. We haven't had the most amazing wild spawns in the world. It's been a kind of bit of a weird season. We're not really getting a lot of the new Pokemon that were buffed spawning as often as you would like. Niantic do. By the way guys, I'm not spoofing, I'm on the train. I've been getting comments of people saying that I'm spoofing. Guys, grow up. Like, that's all I can say to you at this point. Grow up. That's all I can say to you at this point. Grow up. Like, I am not cheating. I've showcased like so much of the footage. You guys need to grow up if you think that I'm spoofing. But anyway guys, we're gonna hop on into the battles. The team that I decided to go with first of all was Clodsire, Drifblim, and Feraligatr. Dude, isn't it funny that I actually had to put no cheating in the rules of the challenge? I think the vast majority of you are sensible enough to know that I'm not, but anyway, we're not getting into that too much. The first team we're running is Clodsire, Drifblim, and Feraligatr. Man, in this video, Feraligatr just cooked, and so did Drifblim. We do end up swapping out the team at some point here because if you have a look at this team, I want you guys to sort of have a think about it, right? What kind of wrecks this team in the Retro Cup? Have you guys played the Retro Cup today? And what Pokemon were you seeing a lot of? If you think about what Pokemon are very common in this cup, it'll be pretty obvious why I switched up the team after a while. But anyway guys, in the next one we have a Clodsire. We do get the win in the first battle there. I need to basically get my routine in order, because of course I want to stream my main account as well and showcase the best possible teams. But basically what I've decided to do is as soon as I wake up, just grab my phone, do like 2 sets, record them on my phone, and then I'll try to sort of bang out the rest at the later points of the day. That's kind of how I'm going to try to do this. I'm trying to squeeze in so many different things at once. We have this. I kind of want to make some content for Pokemon Pocket. I want to upload some good teams on my main account. I have a wife, I've got 3 kids, I've got a job, I've got YouTube videos to make. I want to make Pokemon Pocket content. There's just so much for me to do here. Newborn baby in the house. It's pretty hectic, so I'll absolutely try my best. But like I said, over the last couple of weeks, it's just been very, very tough. I almost regret not pushing as far as I could in that Halloween Cup, because that Wigglytuff team that I showcased was absolutely busted. Open Great League was just very hit or miss. I just was getting algoed, to be completely honest with you. And like I said, I was running a team of Gardevoir. I think I was trying different combinations of dark Pokemon in the back. Morpeko, big mistake building that Pokemon, cost over 100k dust. Left me very, very dry on dust. We're back up to over 230k after today's sets using a couple of premium passes, which at this point, I'm going to just use on GBL. And of course that Spotlight R, I had 1 star piece left over. So we do still have some options to build an extra Pokemon or 2 if we do need it. But yeah, definitely made a huge mistake. I was trying different combinations of dark Pokemon in the back with Gardevoir. If I don't see the Gardevoir in the lead, I'm basically cooked. Malamar, Morpeko, huge mistake, like I said. It just made things very, very difficult for me. I played, I think, 4 sets of it overall over the week. I think I must have seen Gardevoir at least 16 or 17 times. That's no exaggeration. I hopped on to do another set one day and I was like, okay, maybe I'll not see as many Gardevoirs now. Literally 5 games in a row, Gardevoir in the back. It was basically impossible. And yeah, we're in a very, like I said, difficult position now. But I do think it's very possible to make these big pushes towards the end of the season. The very first time I ever hit Legend, I hit Expert in Little Cup using a Double Grass team. Big shout out to Double Grass, man. I think it was Ducklet, Double Grass, Bulbasaur, and Chikorita. It was an amazing team. Back in those days, Chikorita was able to take switch advantage against Vulpix at certain times, which is pretty insane. I think it's like if you get ahead by 1 or 2 Vine Whips, you can just flip that match. It's pretty nuts. And then I think for the Catch Cup week, I had... I'm not sure if I had Medicham, but I had a lot of very meta Pokemon builds. Maybe Altaria, Medicham, a lot of really, really good Pokemon. So like I said, it's still possible. We're at 2500 ELO now. We just need to make some steady climbs. We can't be having any like extremely bad like -100, -200 days. We have to go slow and steady, or, you know, of course if I could find a team that does really well, that'd be even better. But we start off pretty fine today. We do get a free 2, and we're up to 2466. So we're up a little bit of ELO, and we're going to hop into the next set. We have Dragonair in the lead. I was kind of using Clodsire like a damage sponge, just like, yeah, I'll get shields with this Pokemon, get a move or 2 off, and do whatever with it. I catch an Aqua Tail on the Feraligatr, which is fantastic, and we should be able to outpace to a Hydro Cannon here. Hydro Cannon plus Shadow Claws should be pretty sufficient. Like I said, in the next event, we do have an opportunity to get a Hydro Cannon on this Pokemon, so definitely get yourself that if you can. I end up letting the Feraligatr go, and we go for 2 Shield Drift Bloom. I try to snipe here, the opponent catches back an Ape. I'm sort of happy to draw Ape back out, because they still have to throw a move. And basically, oh, they let me get the Earthquake off as well, that's perfect. Yeah, I think they're going to commit to the farm down. Hopefully 1 Astonish not. Okay, the game denies me. Dude, this game is so frustrating, dude. We do knock them out with 1 Astonish though. We get off a Shadow Ball on the Charge Bug here. I'll basically get them to 1 HP. That final Astonish will knock them out, and that's going to be good games well played. I definitely have been getting a lot of that quite recently, a lot of denies, a lot of one-turn bring-ins. Dunsparce, somewhat of an issue for this team. The opponent swaps it into a Giraffe, so I'm assuming this is probably an ABB team. This is the problem with this team, and this is why I had to swap it. I started seeing a lot of double confusion, a lot of ABA confusion, or just ABB confusion teams. It's pretty hard to beat them with this team because Clodsire, while it can hang in there, it's very weak to confusion and Psychic Fangs. So like a Rangaroo with Trailblaze or Girafarig with Psychic Fangs and Confusion can basically look to run for it. That just gave me a really funny idea. If you guys have been watching the series from the beginning, one thing that I've talked about from the start is busting out my 0-15-15 Alakazam. That could be a really good option. I spent all this time talking about not making mistakes, not busting out Pokemon, or building Pokemon that could potentially be a massive waste of dust. But imagine I was able to bust out Alakazam, and imagine if it worked well. How good would that be? It would kind of be a very nice, fulfilling moment that one of the very first Pokemon we caught with good IVs was that Alakazam, and if we were able to somehow make use of it, that'd be fantastic. A couple other things I should mention is, there's been a few opportunities to get Elite TMs recently. There was a Twitch drop, and there was Go Battle Weekend. I didn't play any of those on this account. I think had I grinded the Go Battle Weekend out, I probably could have been very close to Legend at this point, if not Legend already. Like I said, I've just been super busy, and honestly, I was kind of frustrated with Open Great League at a certain point. Just playing on my main account was not fun whatsoever. It was kind of difficult to play just good fun teams. No matter what I was running on this account, it just was not working out for me. So I just kind of got fed up with it, and I just said, you know what, whatever dude. I'll just play whenever Open Great League's gone. But I think I failed to realise that a lot of the Pokemon you would want for Willpower Cup, a lot of the meta Pokemon were not really spawning this season. Also, another thing is, I wasn't able to play the Mankey Calm Day too much. I was able to play a little bit and do some TMs. Our child was born on Friday and the Calm Day was on Saturday. My wife was in hospital for the best part of a week, so I was basically looking after my two sons at home. So I wasn't really able to play the Calm Day too much. I could have took them out to play it, but I think it was raining as well, and I was just like, you know what? Whatever, dude. It's a good opportunity for me to take a little bit of a break from Pokemon Go. I didn't manage to play the Calm Day too much. I ended up TMing off frustration on one of my Mankeys, but something that I failed to realise is that Karate Chop is a legacy move, so I wasn't really able to get too much out of the Calm Day either. Anyway guys, we end up switching up the team here to Ninetales. I don't really have amazing options on this account for this cup that kind of work well, so I sort of need Pokemon that can beat Confusion. I don't really have too many Pokemon like that, so I decided to throw in Ninetales as basically a neutral option. I may end up switching it out or doing something a little bit different later on. The problem with this team now is we're ABA weak to Dunsparce. We do get a very nice catch in this match. The opponent comes back in with Pidgeot and like a complete degen, they shield their low health Pidgeot to try to debuff me permanently. I shield it knowing it's a Feather Dance because I do need to keep some health on this. Feather Dance, while a very low damage move, could just put me into range to get farmed down. The opponent comes in here to Bubble Beam me. We're triple debuffed, super frustrating playstyle, and they come into Hypno. Wait, hang on a second, can we still win this? Bang! Shadow Ball number 1. We do make it to the last Shadow Ball, and that's going to be good games well played. I really needed it to be something like that in the back, something like Hypno, or something that can get 2-shot by Icy Wind or Shadow Ball. Very close battle, and hopping into the next one, we get an Ape in the lead. We have 2 better answers, so we come into Gator. Non-Shadow Gator, by the way, guys, it's not to be slept on. It can do things that the other one can't. Like, for example, in this matchup, like, I could have no-shielded that X-Scissor and still got off the second move. Whereas the Shadow probably does get farmed down with the X-Scissor. As you can see, we make a last second move on CMP, which is beautiful. The opponent's basically forced to let it go. They come into Ape, we come into Drifblim, and Drifblim just absolutely abolishes Ape. It just sends it back to the Shadow Realm. They come into the Vespiquen, and that's good games well played. Very interesting team by the opponent. The opponent's got a very interesting team in this game. They've Medicham in the lead, and they have Dunsparce here. I think I was getting lag at this point, and I was denied a fast move, which, you know, go figure. To be fair though, my Android phone, like, it's not a bad Android phone. It's an A54, if you guys are into phones, maybe you know what that is, but it's a pretty mid-range Android. It's a fairly new phone. It's only a couple of years old. This phone should be pretty fine to play Pokemon Go, but it's pretty much unplayable. It's pretty much the reason why I had to buy an iPhone. I decided just to buy an iPhone just to kind of get rid of all of these frame drops. The frame drops on Android are super annoying. However, on iPhone, I do think one-turn bring-in is more of an issue on that. In this matchup here, they come into Dragonite. I think this is a cool team by the opponent. But we just end up double Icy Winding here, and this should be basically curtains. I can take this move no problem, and even though resisted, Ninetales can still take a move here, no problem. We just outpaced 2 Weller Balls, and that's going to be good games, thanks for playing. Dragonite and Medicham, I actually quite like the combo. Are there any Charmers in this cup? There might be, but it's not going to be super common. We get a Gastrodon in the next match. Of course, it's very, very bad for my Ninetales. The opponent tanks the move and comes into Toxapex. I think it was at this point that I realised I should probably be putting Crunch on Gator, because there are a lot of Psychic-type Pokemon. There are some Pokemon like Toxapex in the meta. We do get a very nice CMP, chipping it down quite a lot. Because the opponent misaligned the clocks quite a decent amount, I decided to not give them the farm down. We come into this, and they come into Clodsire. The opponent's ABA weak to Drifblim. I think Drifblim and Golurk have been my MVPs this season. I decided to shield the first one just out of caution. It is Sludge Bomb, and now we're in a fantastic position to win this. The opponent can't really do too much damage to me. I can farm it the whole way down. They get off a second move here, but I can get the massive farm down. They go for a snipe, I catch it on the Feraligatr. What move is this going to be? It's a Water Pulse. We caught the Water Pulse right here. We come back into Drifblim, and this is absolute curtains for the opponent. The opponent decides to go for a Body Slam. I survive. It's double resisted on Drifblim, plus the opponent's debuffed. We farm it the whole way down. The opponent comes back into Toxapex. We go straight for an Icy Wind here, and we'll of course commit to the farm down here with Ninetales. Good games well played. A little bit tricky there. You can see that we're sort of ABA weak there, but we were able to overcome that. We get a 4-1 in that set, I think, and we're up to 25-20 now. Talonflame in the next match. We come into this, and the opponent comes into Dugong. I start getting pretty hard countered in the next 2 sets. I have made an adjustment to the team, where it is a little bit better into confusion on certain things, but there are teams that basically hard counter this, and we are ABA weak to a lot of stuff. It might be this game right here where you see Gator just going on an absolute tear. We no-shield the Icy Wind. Dugong players love beating Gators. I decided to let the move go. It's kind of my win con at this point. I decide to shield this thinking the opponent won't fall for the same trick twice. They come into the Gastrodon. I come into the Ninetales, and this is a bad match, but we do get a CMP on the potential Earth Power. Bang, that goes through. We get the attack drop, and that's amazing. That means the opponent's Mud Slaps are going to be doing much less damage. We do 4 and throw. We're up to over 2 Hydro Cannons here. We get the Hydro Cannon off. Now it's for Alligator versus Talonflame and Dugong on low health. We to and fro for good timing here. The opponent done one before the left. We to and fro, we get that through, we to and fro once again. The opponent's unable to reach a move. Bang, goodbye Talonflame. Back in comes Dugong. They're not going to be able to farm us down. We got off a Hydro Cannon, and that's a massive sweep out Gator. So right here, I decide, yeah, Crunch, I think it's probably necessary. Really helps out with the Dugong matchup as well. We get a Dugong in the lead in the next battle. I decide to play out the zeros here. Ninetales is kind of just here as a neutral pick. I'm not really trying to do anything too crazy with Ninetales. Again, the opponent could go for a bait. They shielded the first one. They did go for the drill run. I'm expecting them to bait the second move. You probably should go drill run on the second one because it does more raw damage. So that's something to keep in mind. Weather Ball is much more efficient, so you always go for Weather Balls. But if you can only get off one last move, just go for the dollar move. Once again, this absolute silly sausage goes for the bait. I go for the big crunch here. It does quite a lot of damage, and I expected the opponent to shield the second move because we got the debuff. They do decide to let it go, and at this point, it's Drifblim sweep time. There's so many times where I just decided like it's Drifblim time. You shield Drifblim just does so well. In comes Giraffe. I get the extra Astonish here. I go for the extra. Psychic Fangs will do about roughly 30% of my health. It does a lot, even on the first time. We get off 2 Icy Winds right here. This will look to get them extremely low, and they come back into Dugong. We farm it the whole way down. I swap into Gator to clear the debuff. We do 1 Astonish and knock it out and survive in 1 HP. Good games well played in that one. Like I said guys, we just kept running into confusion quite a lot, and even though we did make an adjustment to the team, it's very, very tricky for this line. I might have to have a little bit of a think tomorrow, try to come up with something that's a little bit better into these confusion users. A lot of Rangaroos, a lot of Giraffe Rigs. We get a good lead with Jumpluff. The opponent comes into Dunsparce safe swap, which once again is a bit of an issue for this team. We can, you know, sort of play around it, especially because we have non-Shadow Gator. I go for the Chip and Dip. We get them extremely low here at this point, and I decide it's Drifblim time once again. We're putting all the hope and faith into Drifblim. I'm going to no shield here. I'll try to get off this Hydro, get a shield off them if possible. They come into this. I let them farm me down. I come into Ninetales, and the opponent comes into an Arced Backs. This is not a horrible matchup for Ninetales, because Ninetales is pretty bulky, right? We're non-Shadow. These Fire Spins are ripping this to shreds. They're super low, and I'm thinking, yeah, we're chilling at this point. We can come in, farm all the way down. Unfortunately, they do get off a last second move. They get off a Dragon Claw. They come into Jumpluff. I go for the extra, and the opponent actually full sends in Acrobatics, so they're on the Acrobatics moveset, which is perfect for me here. I just debuff the opponent. I go for this move right away. I wasn't sure what the opponent's count was at this point, but I just know double debuff, we're chilling. We come into Ninetales, get off a Water Ball, and at this point the opponent's seen enough, they can see the match. That's good games well played. Had the opponent been an Aurelius, they might have been convinced to continue playing that out, because they could have got off more moves. In the next battle, I decide to threaten the Ice Beam. I go for the Hydro Cannon. I don't go for Crunch, because if I go for Crunch, they know I don't have Ice Beam, right? They beat me with the Aurelius. I was happy with the shield. We now go for the Crunch, once again threatening the Ice Beam. We get 2 shields off the opponent, and I'm like, yo, we're coming in with Ninetales. We're going to set up the sweep. We actually bank a Hydro Cannon. 2 of these don't quite knock out the Dunsparce, but it gets very, very close to. We survive any move here. Like I said, Ninetales has got very respectable bulk. We can take these moves. We pace equally to these. You can see in the Zero Shield scenario, we do very, very fine here. Bang. The Dunsparce is super low. We come in with Drifblim. I noticed the opponent pausing here, so I decide to shield this. It is a Rock Slide. We're going to commit to the farm down, and it's Drifblim time. In comes a Rangaroo. I decide here to go for Shadow Ball. Even though it's resisted, I think it does more damage. I could be wrong on that fact, but I think that's the case. That Wombo combo works out very nicely. Those 2 moves are enough to knock it out. I, of course, shield the first move. They do go for Earliest right here. I get a forced over tap here, but we do get off the Icy Wind eventually. This will knock out the Jumpluff, and that's good games. So yeah, Drifblim absolutely carrying, Gator is absolutely carrying. We just need a third option for this team. So we're going to sort of see this match play out once again. We can play this out in the Zero Shield, we can take a move. They survive 2 moves. We'll set it up for farm down with something. The only bad thing is, they basically can farm us the whole way down here, and pretty much come out with a move for our next Pokemon. I decide to save that for a sacrificial swap. We're sort of weak to this anyway, and they come into Dragonite. Once again, I threaten the Ice Beam. I go for the Crunch because I only get off 1 move here no matter what, and it's Drifblim time once again, guys. We're going to 2 shield farm it down if we need to. I'm hoping we can use 1 shield here. If I need to use 2, I'll use 2. That's basically our only option at this point. Yeah, they do unfortunately get off 2 moves. I know the opponent does have a Dunsparce, but then they end up coming into, yeah, Goodra. I think we're just kind of cooked here. Dunsparce, Double Dragons, kind of tough for this line, unfortunately. Yeah, I think I just end up, like, zero bubbling this and pretty much conceding here. Double Dragon will be an issue for this team. We get a Talonflame in the next battle here. We come into the Gator this time. I think I should have come into Drifblim. I think if you, for some reason, decide to play this... Well, this backline is good. Just use a better lead. But if you play this backline, I think come into Drifblim versus the Talonflame, because those 2 Astonishes head start can really help you do very well in this matchup right here with Giraffe. I decide to basically sacrifice it. Once again, we're trying to set up Drifblim for the sweep. They go for Psychic Fangs. I swap straight out here into the Talonflame. They come into a Rangaroo. and it's like, oof, this is tricky. This is a little bit tricky. We sort of have to shield the brutal swings. I was half expecting a Trailblaze so they can farm me down a little bit quicker, because of course I'm going to shield that move. They can basically fast move pressure me down. They go for a last second move. Unfortunately, I think a Talonflame just got a little bit too far ahead. We do catch a move here. Bang, Fly does a lot of damage. I didn't expect it to do that much. We get off a last second Scorching Sands, but unfortunately the opponent gets the perfect farm down. We're nowhere near the move, and I think we end up going 2-3 and 1-4 in the final 2 sets. So overall, it was a positive day. We're at 2491 at this current point in the video. We've another Dragonite here. I just come in and go for Hydro Cannon right away. Doesn't knock them out, especially because it's an Unshadow, but it threatens so much damage that it's basically fine. They come into a Cresselia. I was getting a lot of lag here again. I think I missed a fast move here somewhere. I think I probably could have got off 2 moves. I let this go though. I come in with the Drifloon, get a massive farm, come into Ninetales, catch the move. I don't want to shield anything here at this point. The opponent will come back into Dragonite. We'll chip it as much as we can, set up a farm down for Drifloon, and we can basically permanently debuff the opponent's last Pokemon. We end up getting a CMP tie here. I think I should be able to get off 2 Water Balls here. The opponent actually ends up going for a double CMP, so they just tap the move. That sets us up for a perfect farm down with Drifloon. They come into Mankey. Sorry, Mankey, it's Primeape. They come into Primeape. They're going to go for Rage Fist. I have to shield everything here. I build up to back-to-back Icy Winds, and this should be basically curtains for the opponent. This team right here does very well into Annihilape and Primeape, so if you do see a lot of them, you should be basically in a good position. Yeah, bang, that'll take them out. We can farm down the Dragonite, and it's going to be good games. So where are we finishing off here? Let's have a look here. I think 1-4, and did we go 2-3 in this set right here? Yeah, we go 2-3. So we're finishing off in 2478. I gained some ELO, roughly about 30 ELO. I definitely need to rethink the team a little bit, but I'm very happy to be back doing the 1 to Legend series, and a big thank you everybody for watching. On average, we need to gain about 40 ELO per day from now to the end of the season to hit Legend, so we're going to try our absolute best. I've come up with an idea just on the spot. I'll show it maybe tomorrow, but I think Trevenant with Sucker Punch. Is it Feint Attack or Sucker Punch it has? I think that could be a really smart idea. I do have a Trevenant I can build. Maybe we could try that or try Alakazam. But anyway guys, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you very much for watching. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys next time.